Hey, okay, we are going to do a quick, I always say that and it never turns up quick and then I don't end up posting the readings, child. But we're going to do a reading. It is 3/21 on May 20th. This is a special boy's birthday. My husband went to go get the kids. Oh, and Net, yes, okay. So we're starting off with Divine Mother frequencies. And Net, I believe, is also connected to Newt, the Netters. And this is her Igbo manifestation as Annette. I think also connected, obviously, to the name Annette. So we're going to be doing a quick blue moon pick a card reading. What is going on for the blue moon? Now, I'm going to do a little pug here, okay? First of all, I want to say that this has to do with resurrection. For everybody listening, this is a resurrection frequency, number one. And that's definitely been coming up in my reality of this concept of sacrifice and resurrection, where certain belief systems can be very damaging to interpersonal relationships and to family dynamics, because there's a feeling that in order for things to be worth it, in order for things to go smoothly, someone has to sacrifice, someone has to metaphorically die in order for their life force to go to another person. This is also having me think of, I forgot when I had this dream. I'll probably talk about it afterwards and link it, but I had this dream of like the Supreme in American Horror Story Coven. And, the whole concept of that was that there can only be one Supreme and that all of the other witches around are in, connection to the Supreme. So when the new Supreme comes, she has to absorb and take the power of the other ones. And also these kind of concepts in families that there can only be one powerful person, right? And that archetype can play out in a lot of ways of that. Somebody has to sacrifice their power, give all that they have in order to feed into this other person to make this person's life beneficial. And then once they do, then they feed back into the people that they took from. And just how I'm saying it, I know that you can see that there's an unhealthy dynamic. And so what I started saying is, I am not a sacrifice to any person in my life, and I have resurrected and I stay at the high peak. And that's what I suggest for everyone. If you feel like you have given a lot and not enough in return, you feel like that you are supporting certain people in certain aspects and you don't get that in return, stop being the sacrifice. And a lot of the time people are consciously, but they don't understand the depth of it, unconsciously, that they are requiring sacrifice. And if you're not a willing sacrifice, it actually is going to bring down everybody in the system. So it actually has this effect of everybody ends up suffering and sacrificing and nobody ends up winning. And it's 3/24 as I'm saying that. And so then it has this thing where you have to like stand up and you have to set this condition of, no, I'm not going to be the sacrifice. I want to be a part of a system where everybody is winning, everybody is thriving, and we are pushing each other to rise, where no one has to be sacrificed. And then that can bring in its own kind of dynamics, but I would much rather that type of, energetic backlash at first than to give in to being the sacrifice. You feel what I'm saying? And a lot of the time when I look at goddess energies and female energies, and there are men obviously who also get sacrificed by other men, most of the time the woman is usually the one who is sacrificed. Whether it's usurping her power, whether it's taking over her stuff, whether it's requiring her to be the oracles, right? Because the oracles at Delphi and Dodona, most of the time they were captured for their oracle abilities. It's kind of the aspect of fairies being captured and forced to, heed people's wishes and things like that. So I feel like this is about a much bigger concept of freeing the mother energy, and resurrecting from things. So, all right. Oh, my order got delivered. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into these messages, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and start with group number 1. Let's see group number 1. What is going on for you with this blue moon energy? Tap me into the people who are going to choose pile number 1, and what is the most important thing? Ooh, the red threads of fate. Okay, and give me more. The red threads of fate, a week, and the death card in reverse. Literally, resurrection, literally. Okay. The 4 of Swords in reverse and June. Okay, and then something you probably wouldn't even think of. Ooh, okay. Ooh, and then the 8 of Swords in reverse. Okay, so it's 327. Ooh, 555 changes. Okay, I had to pause and go get my groceries. I had to go get my groceries and stuff like that. Okay, so for your pile, what I honestly feel like is there's going to be an event within a week of this blue moon. So whenever you're listening to it, if you're listening like way past the blue moon, go back to what was going on the week after. There is something going on. Yeah, oh yeah, literally, because June. So the blue moon is going to be on May 31st. And then, of course, the next day is June 1st. And we have the card of June coming out. Whew. Hold on, because I had to get that water case out. Okay. 413 is also significant. I just want to mention that because I do see April 13th here. That could be significant. There is something going on in a relationship. Okay. Red threads of fate has to do with people who are destined to meet each other and be married in a relationship. That is the original context of it. Now, it has expanded out. So if you can't think of anyone or you're not in a relationship, this could expand out into just general fate of meeting someone, some type of fated relationship as far as maybe an interpersonal relationship. Maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a family member. But there is definitely a change that's happening. Now, I do feel like with the death card in reverse, that this could definitely have to do with some type of difficult situation that you don't have to put down, but it is going to change drastically, okay? And there's going to be something that happens that you're not planning for, that you weren't looking for, but it is going to be a manifestation of something that is going to move this fated relationship in a specific type of way, okay? And like I said, if you're watching this afterwards, go back to June, because this definitely has to do with something breaking down. And I don't think that it's going to be like broken down, completely dissolved, but it definitely is going to be broken down for a period in time, so that it can come back together in a way that's much more compatible to you. That's what I do think. With the 4 of Swords in reverse, I don't think this is something that you need to necessarily ponder on. And why it is happening is that ultimately, right, because we have the 4 of Swords and then we have the 8 of Swords. Ultimately, why it's happening, and March 31st could be significant as well. Ultimately, why it's happening is because you have been stuck in a certain area of life and it's time to get out of it. And it's giving me the feeling of like when, like you're moving from a place and like the process of moving. So especially if you've been in a place for a very long time, like, do you know what I'm talking about? Where like sometimes you get that anxiety and it's like as you're moving, like you can get a little bit of anxiety of like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. Am I sure? Yeah, it's moving and it's happening and it's sure. Okay. It's sure. I ultimately feel like it is a good thing as well. Ooh, Acacia's energy. Definitely check out Acacia's ascension on the full moon. I do have a subliminal coming out that has to do with ancestral money and organizing your ancestors around you to support you in being financially stable, as well as financially thriving in surplus. It also deals with alchemizing ancestral beliefs and patterns to make sure that it's matching our goals in life. There's so much juicy stuff that I couldn't put everything in there, but definitely check that out, okay? I think you would really, really benefit from it. And it is at 333, okay? So I'm going to go on to the next group so they get 333 as well. All right, hi to my friends who picked pile number 2. It is also 333 for your pile. And your pile, I'm pretty sure it started on 1019, which is ancestor numbers. I was just talking to pile 1 about that on the blue moon. Acacia's Ascension is my other channel with subliminals, and it is connected into ancestral money and patterns, okay? All right, let's see what, theirs came out. Okay, so some of you definitely could have picked pile number 1 as well. This could be a continuation in certain ways of pile 1, so definitely go and check that out because it has some good messages in there, okay? So let's see, in addition to pile 1, what other messages for pile number 2? 1111, yeah, okay. Capricorn, okay. So are some of you guys Capricorns, have Capricorn placements? Terahertz. Interesting. Okay, let's see what this has to do. And cosmetic and wellness. I feel like this is my pile where for the blue moon, you're going to be focused on elements of life that are like cutting edge, okay? Part of my Acacia's Ascension is basically creating it as an astral hotel, and these are 2 wings within the hotel. One of them has to do with cosmetics, and one of them has to do with terahertz. Now, together, what I'm getting from this is that there is some type of thing about grounding, right? Because I'm also a Capricorn. Capricorn energy, a lot of the time is seen as like, not whimsical. And, CEOs and only focus on money, which is absolutely not true. Capricorn has to have foundations set in order to play. That's just how it goes. That's when we feel the most comfortable. We can play outside of that, but it's just not as fun. Do you know what I'm saying? And so what I feel like with these 2 together is that there is this kind of idea or thought that you have that can be very cutting edge, that would be very, very exciting and beneficial and also heavily lucrative. And so they want you to look into this and put some effort and time into bringing this into fruition. I feel like with the blue moon energy, you can really get into the energy of manifesting odd experiences, like glitches in the matrix, okay? Terahertz frequencies, how I was thinking about it is that it has, like, if you resonate and vibrate something, I guess, fast enough, for a period in time, you can actually be able to separate the atoms of particles and be able to maneuver them that way. So if you've watched Fringe before, there's an episode of Fringe where there are these guys and they have like this laser and they point it at this bank vault in order to go through the bank vault door. And that's basically what it does. So it heats it up and I guess it, moves the particles. And I'm still working on the concept of terahertz, obviously, but I got the inspiration. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. But they're able to, for a period in time, disturb the atoms and then walk through the door and retrieve what they're looking for. This also is a concept that Al Bielek talks about, Albielek, child. But you'll be able to find him, and the Philadelphia experiment where he talks about that they're able to materialize and dematerialize a ship throughout space and time. You can also do that, I believe, with your body as well, where you can reorganize the atoms. Now, I'm still working on this, but I believe that it's possible. So it could be some type of ideas like that, okay? Yeah. Ooh, okay, so you have some female angelic presences around or spirits around. And the next card that I see is Orisha Odu. And I don't know too much about Odu, but I do know about Odudua. I don't think that they are the same. But Odudua is a primordial Aramu. A lot of the time she is seen as like a masculine presence. That has not been my experience with her, though there is the king Odudua. They are not the same as the primordial goddess who is considered to be married to Obatala, and then they have marriage problems. It's a whole thing. So her story, I feel like, gets very overshadowed because it's like one thing. It's one thing to be beefing with a human ex. It's another thing to be beefing with a god. Okay, that's a whole nother story. Like how Ashira was like, you know, totally erased from the conversation with Yahweh. Oh, look, DeeDee, that's me. Was totally erased from the conversation with Yahweh. And like, instead of the Trinity being mother, father, child, it was father, dove, and child, which the dove is still a feminine presence, but he totally wiped out her existence. And that's, you know, that's what it is. So I feel like there's a lot of interesting stuff in this group. Yeah, self-care right now, period. Yeah, there's a lot of like high frequency feminine energy and thinking outside of the box with it. Ooh, and share a dream. Ooh, make sure in the comment below if you've had some type of dream about female energies, female entities, female stories being overwritten. Anything about that, share it in the comment. I would love to hear about it. And I will share a dream as well. When I figure out what it is, I will link it when I do it. Okay, my friends who picked pile number 2, that's what I have for you guys. And now I'm going to move on to the last pile number 3. All right. Hi to all my friends who picked pile number 3. Let's see what is going on for you guys. I feel like the number 7 is going to be significant for you guys. Let's see. Could be 7th house, could be Libra, could be contracts and agreements. Let's see. What is going on for my people who picked pile number 3? I feel like definitely pyramids are coming up. Ooh, interesting. So you guys got the male angelics or spirits around. Now, pile 2 got the female one. So let's see what's going on with the masculine presences. Zodkill. Oh. Oh. Mercy. Okay, let's see where we're going with this. So where are we going with this? The 8 of Swords in reverse. Okay. A little bit of pile 1 energy. Pile 2 also kind of had this energy. Ooh, the sun. I'm talking about masculine energy everywhere. 813. And this is also 819, but I was thinking 813. And actually, I have 2 connections to 813 and 819, which have to do with Kroza Kali, Tramanagmo, the Dark Mother. Kala is dark. Okay. And this has to do with like the Dakinis. Now, a lot of the time in their story, it said that they were basically demonic and witch-like entities. And then, what's his name? Guru Rinpoche. I forgot what they called him, but I believe like he basically dominated them, and then now they like work for him. I feel like there's like an energy like this because my dream with Zodkiel, which I should have on the channel, was about him exposing to me what different masculine secret society groups do and how they basically utilize female energy to break out of the matrix. And their usual way of doing that has to do with sexual and relationship energies, right? The easiest way to get a goddess on your side or a female on your side is to basically pretend to be interested in them. You know, in a relationship, right? Because when you are connected to someone, connected to something, you get what they have, especially if you're with a very generous person. What they have, they usually share with you. And so originally they might not be the king of this land, but if you're the queen of this land and you like them, you might abdicate. Is that the word? Abdicate? Mercy to them, and then they do become the king of this. So I'm going to see like in what way this is popping up, because I've definitely seen brotherhoods connected to Zadkiel that have a heavy influence in the astrals, and that's connected to Thoth or thought. That's what I believe. Ooh, a past life connection. So maybe in a past life, right? And there are certain traditions, especially the Abrahamic traditions, that are very male-centered. And that's what I was thinking about with the sun. Do you know what I'm saying? Like everything is about the sun. Through the sun, you get to the Father. Through the sun, you get everlasting life. Through the sun, you get the waters of life. Even though the sun is very dehydrating, but you know what I'm saying? And then usually water is a feminine presence, right? The sun comes through the waters. That's a whole nother conversation. We talk about Nun, and they try to say that Nun is a masculine energy. They try to say that Oduduwa is a masculine energy, but the owner of the waters is going to be a woman. But there's past life, I think, energy here of understanding feminine presence within a male-centered field. Like I'm almost hearing like that theme. I'm kind of seeing like this meme of like women in male-dominated fields. And some of the fields weren't masculine to begin with. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's not a male-dominated field. It's a male-usurped field. Do you feel what I'm saying? And I don't want anybody to like get confused about where I stand with this. I love men. I love women in a platonic way, of course. There's just like sometimes the energy is very much favoring one over the other, and it is very detrimental to healthy just co-relationships in general. Do you know what I'm saying? Interpersonal relationships, familial relationships, mother-child relationships, not even just romantically, but just in general. Okay. Like people that, you know, like they can't even imagine that God would even have feminine principles, yet alone there could be a goddess. Okay, so the Seven of Cups is coming out, and then what is last? Ooh, the Tower. Ooh, 7/17. July 17th could definitely be significant. Ooh, and then we have the card of I'm not pulling it out of nowhere. Literally, I'm not just saying this. This is coming up. There could be something from, oh yeah, look, sexual tantric union. Dakini energy is definitely related to that. And we're talking about, you know, relationship also comes with sexual energy as well. So I feel like this is going to be like a reclaiming of feminine energy and putting feminine energy back into a place of power, a place of prestige, where, the masculine principle is also, you know, there and in their power as well, just making sure that it is not at the expense of the female. So that's what I have for you guys. I'm hoping that you have a great blue moon. Make sure to check out my other channel, Acacia's Ascension, and then check out the links as well. All right, friends. Bye.